Shalom lekulam. Hi everybody. I'm very happy to be here. Rina, thank you for first of all for all of your work, because you're a true asset to the community of Olim here in Israel. And thank you all for coming. I know these are not easy days for the Turkish Olim community here. So my heart goes out to you, and I hope all your families and loved ones back home are safe. Back home is not the right term. Back in Turkey are safe. But in a sharp move, we're going to talk about something else. Okay, this is not going to be a lecture, and this is not going to be a speaking engagement. I'm going to use some slides from things that I do when I do speaking engagements to young Olim, but I just want to use them for a conversation. So they say that a good speaker knows to stick to the script, but a great speaker knows how to get off the script, on the script, back, forth, maneuver. So I would be really happy for this to be a conversation. We thought about how to frame this. I do want to jump quickly between a few things, put a few things on the table. Tops that will take, I hope, 20-something minutes, but then we have the rest of the hour for Q&A, and I invite you to ask selfish questions. Assaf, from your experience, what's the best way on LinkedIn to do X, Y, Z? When I'm going to a meeting, what's the best way to pitch myself to the job interview, blah, 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 whatever. So the more selfish your questions are, the more I can give you specific value. So that's actually what I want to do. Also, for whoever's watching this later, the more it will be relevant for those who could not be here today, but will watch this later on, and the tens of millions of YouTube viewers that we're going to have later on. Okay. Rina, this is called not so subtle promotion. Yeah. So I'll say a word about Plus 972 as well. We did a little survey, how many people here are working, not working, working but looking for a job. So I got a little bit of context. Yalla, let's start. So again, I'm not going to do the full pitch. By the way, anybody has an idea who this is? It's related to the Parashat HaShavua a few weeks ago. So entrepreneurship is not just startups and businesses. Your career journey is, in a way, an entrepreneurial journey. There's a lot of lessons to be learned from our heritage when it comes to career, entrepreneurship, and business lessons, but that's for another time. Which reminds me, I'm jumping between topics, but a lot of it, if not all of it, is online. So, you know what? If you go here, and you just, it's in my website, and you just scroll down, you'll find all of it. So I'm jumping fast because I know if you didn't really get the whole thing, you could go later on and check that again. So here's what I want to do. I'll present myself in 2-3 minutes. I'm actually going to skip the background part because this is not like a full academic talk. I want to get straight to the punchline in a very Israeli way. So go to the tachlis. And implications, you know what, we'll just do, Q&A. I don't want to give a few implications. So there's the punchline, and there's, okay, what does it mean to me? And that's really what I want to talk about. And then we can open this to networking, LinkedIn, go to the tactics. Beseder, okay? Anybody has an objection? Great, because that's what I prepared. Okay. So who am I? Really quickly. My name is Assaf Luxembourg. My scratch, my passion, my disease, my bug, whatever you want to call this, my purpose, what I do in my professional life is mainly this. In a way, it's only this. I'm not going to tell you the full story of how I got to do what I do, but this is what I care about. It's these three things, and in a way, helping people who choose to come here is embedded in that. I wanted to devote my career for that. I thought I'm going to do it one way. I got the slap in the face when I was 30 years old. I understood I need to do it in another way. More of that online. But long story short, I've been doing a lot of work with young professionals who are either visiting Israel or moving to Israel, and I've been doing it for a while. So I'm not, this is the disclaimer part, I'm not an HR PhD researcher, and I'm not a professional a career consultant. I am a Bedouin in the desert who have seen a few things and sharing tips with other Bedouins. So as far as I'm concerned, maybe I even, I'd be happy to learn a few things from you. Long story short, I happened to build my own business because of my commitment to my work. That was not my original plan. So I understood that the only way to do it is starting my own business, so I did. What am I doing in my business? Not that it's so interesting, but just so you get the context. I meet a lot of people who come to Israel for business purposes, businessmen, business people, entrepreneurs, investors, MBA students. And I'm the kind of guy that gets invited to tell them about Startup Nation. What is the secret behind Startup Nation? What are the opportunities for them in Startup Nation? What could be learned from our case study to other places in the world? So I do a lot of work around that because I want to promote Israel. I'm also a marketing consultant. I work with a lot of companies, from startups, real estate investment funds, hedge funds, big corporations, the whole thing, all over the world. And that is the professional side of my work. I'm a partner in a company called Plus 972, which are, this is us right here. We are a creative agency, a global creative agency based in New York. And as you can see from the name, with a big Israeli heart, most of our work is not related to Israel at all. We have international clients. We help them with everything from marketing strategy to execution, branding, design, the whole thing. And we also have a lot of Israeli clients. Mainly, by the way, our Israeli clients are those companies that want to get out of Israel, reach international markets, specifically United States, and they understand that it's not just language and look good, it's the cultural variable. Meaning, if you're an Israeli company, you want to hit New York, perfect English plus look good is not American. There's the cultural added variable. Why am I saying that? Because I'm going to get back to that in the context of you right here. So this is us. So I also do this for a living professionally with companies. I'm the Israeli partner in the firm, working with all our Israeli clients. And as I said, I also do a lot of work with young professionals, especially international who came to Israel. That's my other business, no time for that right now. So let's see, who here is not originally from Turkey? Okay, where are you from?
Belgium.
Belgium. Germany. Okay, Israel. Who here made Aliyah in less than 3 years ago? Okay, don't be shy. Okay. Who here is willing to share, like, what do you want to get from this talk? Because I know what I want to give, but maybe there's something specific that you want to get. Who wants to already put like a selfish motive on the table? No? If you feel like later, feel free to do that. It's actually going to help. So I'm going to skip that because this is not interesting and it's online. I'm going to jump straight to the punchline. So everything that I'm going to talk about and that we're going to do in the Q&A is based on the following idea. And that idea is that the world of work today changed a lot. We think that the real change in our lives are these things. But this did not exist 15 years ago. It will not exist 15 years from now. So that changes quickly. Automobiles came, right from nowhere 100 years ago. Same with the information revolution. But the real change is the cultural change. And the world of work is changing a lot. My punchline is that in today's world of work, you and you and you and me and Rina and Betina and you, my friend, and all of you over there, we are all what I call business units, which is very different than the mindset of we are working, we are employees. What does that mean? I'm not going to do the full thing, but just to understand the idea. What does it mean that I need to think of myself like a P&L unit? Anybody here is a freelancer or entrepreneur or a business owner? Okay.
I was a freelancer.
Okay, who here is an employee full-time? Who here is doing a mix of both? I have a job plus a side thing. Okay. So in a way, you are all business units. You are all the CEOs of you. Some of you have one client called my boss. Some of you have more than one client. Some of you have a registered business and you pay independent taxes, but all of you should think as if you are the CEOs of you. So business units are units that produce an output that is bigger than the input. Duh, right? What it means is, it used to be your boss's job to make sure that the output is bigger than the input. Because if the input, your salary, is bigger than the output, the value of your work, you're going to get the bye-bye letter. It used to be your boss's job, as if you are a soldier in the army and the boss is the commander. It's on their shoulders. In today's world of work, even if you are a soldier and they're the commander, it's on your shoulders. Nobody told it to you or your boss, but it changed without us noticing. So whoever owns a business knows that, of course. I claim that also employees should understand that. It's especially important for people who are looking for a full-time job or are already working and are looking for their way up. If you have any question, ask, but I'm jumping because the full thing is online and I want to move forward. Now, if you are the CEO of you, then your boss is your?
Your employee.
Not your employee, because you cannot fire your boss. If you are the CEO of you, you work in Banca Olim, 100% full-time job. You are the CEO of you, meaning your boss, the head of the department, is your?
Shareholders. Partner.
Your boss is your customer. They buy your output. It's a different kind of thinking. That has a lot of implications that we're not going to discuss today because I want to jump to the practical networking stuff. But that is the punchline. What does it mean that your boss is your customer? They bought your output. Now, customers, anybody here who is in business knows that customers have to be satisfied. They're not always right. People say, the client is always right. They're not always right, but they should be satisfied. Now, who's everybody else at the office? They consume your value. So if you think about it, this is the market landscape. So checking the boxes is not enough. What is my job description? Okay, I have responsibility over A, B, and C, and I'm accountable for X, Y, and Z, and it's within my power to decide over 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so what are my metrics? Check, 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 check. Thank you, done. Let's go to TikTok. Not good enough. And I can share many examples, but we have to get out of that matrix, in a way, this way of thinking, because otherwise we're not going to survive in today's world of work. Another point that I want to put it on the table, I don't want to discuss this today, but your employer cannot tell you who you are. And the amount of people out there who are looking, here's what they say. I'm not asking for too much. I want a decent salary, a good place with a good team. And I want a place, that I'll be proud to say that I work in. I want a place that gives me a little bit of meaning and, satisfaction with a little bit of purpose. What, is that too much? Yes, because you don't get to choose. You're not the client. You're the CEO of you. It's not your boss's job to give you self-fulfillment. So a lot of people out there, all over the world, I think, are looking for their self-fulfillment in the wrong way. And this is very important. Again, yeah, I want to get back to that point about unique and valuable. This is super important for the networking part. But again, I want to just lay the idea on the table. So think like businesses, Think like entrepreneurs. My boss is my customer. What can I do to sell more to my client? How do I make my client want to buy more from me? Not do my job faster and ask for a raise, because nobody cares. That's the idea. So far, we're good? Great. Let's get to tachlis, practical implications. Okay, or you want more theory? Tachlis, great. Implications. So again, a lot of it is online. I picked a few. We said we want to focus on things that are specifically relevant for this community, but I have to bring two things that are universal. They're also, I think, very relevant for everybody here. The first one will be about, so again, a lot of it is online. The first one will be about those of you who are looking for a job. By the way, we ran a survey. So we saw some people that are looking for a job actively, formally. We saw some people that are already working, but are thinking about their next move. Obviously, we're not going to say who, what, and where. And we saw people who replied, I'm working and I'm good, I'm not looking for anything. So that's the category that I call BS, bullshit. So I want to give a tip about what does it mean to look for a job, thinking like I'm the CEO of myself. And then I'll give a tip about those of you who are happy where you work, but you're looking for your way up. And then I'll get to things that are more relevant for Olim. Don't look for a job biz dev. Again, a lot of it is online, but the idea is this. If you're a lawyer and you're an independent lawyer and your plan is to send emails with your CV and say, hi, this is me, this is my experience, I'm looking for new clients. If you happen to know anybody who's looking for a lawyer like me, send them over. And you send it to all the people you know. 99.9% of them, do you know what they'll do with that email? Exactly. So why do you send emails, hi, or post on LinkedIn, I'm looking for my next adventure. Here's my resume. If you know people who are looking for someone like me, by the way, the funniest thing is to see people who call themselves sales experts. And that's how they look for a job. So spraying the hill, there's nothing wrong with that. But just like any good army commander, spraying the hill with a semi-automatic machine gun, LinkedIn jobs, is not a strategy. Eventually, by accident, you'll hit something. It'll just take you 150 applications to hit something, which could potentially be a job offer. Why not snipe as well? Let me give you an idea. If you open Excel, I don't want to say a spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel, and you take column A and you take the 10 companies that you want to work for the most. And the way you pick them is as follows. If everybody pays the same salary and everybody wants to hire me and all job offers and all titles are the same, my mom will be proud the same way if I'm junior or VP. If all of that is the same and there's only one variable, which is what do I want to do and where, which would be my top 10 companies? And you want to put their names in column A of that Excel sheet. Company name, company name, company name, company name. Not necessarily it will be Google or Amazon. So you have to make an emotional choice. Column B, what is the reason that I picked them emotionally? Do I like their product and I use it all the time? Do I follow the CEO because she's so awesome and I just want to learn from her? Do I know people who work there and the company culture is amazing? I want to be part of that team. What is that emotional reason? You put that on column B. Column C, you write, what do I have to offer that they might be interested in? And I'll give you the Olim part in a few slides. So you have these 3 columns. And then you go to LinkedIn and you go to that company page or the team slide on the team page on their website. And you see head of HR and you hold tight and you don't reach out to him or her. You find the head of the department that you want to be a part of. He is not into hiring. He didn't post any job offers. He's busy working, or she. And you reach out to them on LinkedIn. And you tell them, hi, my name is. I love your company because, I made a list and you came up on that list. And the reason you're on my list is because column B. And it just so happens that I'm also column C. What is the best way, in your opinion, for someone like me to get a chance working with you guys? And you'll be surprised how that works. Because 1 out of 10 happens to have an employee that they're not satisfied with, but they didn't fire yet, but they say, you know, it's time to replace Joe or Michelle. And then you come by and they say, you know what, these are the kind of people that we look for. Because these are the kind of people that will stick around to put down the fire when it happens, and not just go take another job. Let's call him or her. And then they talk to you, and after they say, you know what, that's the person we want, then they switch Joe and Michelle. Now, after they told that to Joe and Michelle and they closed you, oh, you know what, we have to publish a job position because of blah, 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 whatever, compliance. So they post a job offer and get 10,000 applicants that nobody is looking at. They already know they want you.
But can I already ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
What makes you think that they will answer this email or read this email rather than a generic email?
Great example. For many reasons, I'll give you one right now, and feel free to bring that question again a bit later. Because, I'll tell you why. They get 50 connection requests on LinkedIn per hour. 99.9% of them are blank. A blank connection request from someone they don't know. Which is equivalent to the following idea. We meet at a conference, and I come to you, Betina, and I do this. And I say nothing. Now you're busy talking to Rina, and I come and do this. And then I go to Rina and I do this. And then I go away and I give some other people my card. What the hell? Hi, I saw you work at blah, blah, blah company, or I saw you spoke to that person. My name is Assaf. Humans. Okay? So that's why if you add a personal note, they will notice. As long as everybody else is busy playing bot on LinkedIn, be human on LinkedIn. That's what makes you special. If everybody was doing that, it wouldn't work. Okay, so that's part of the answer. Okay, again, I want to go to the tactic as much as possible. But that's the idea. So you reach out to them. You know, they used to say, what's the best way to get a job offer at Microsoft? You know, find a bug in their system and tell them that. Then they want to hire you. Same way here. You want to work in marketing? Actually go and see the newsletters that company sent. Maybe you find a typo. Maybe you have an idea for a better tactic for them for their next campaign. Or whatever it is. Share that idea with them. You get their attention and then ask a question. Don't ask for help. Please hire me. Ask a question. What is the best way for someone like me, A, B, C, to get an opportunity with a company such as yours? Okay. Another one. How many people here are full-time employed and happy? Okay, great. Here's a tactic. Not you, other people. It's called the gold and the gray. You know what this is? This is your everyday work environment. Let's see from right. This is your boss. Your boss has a comfort zone. They have been building and fortifying their comfort zone for 10 years. So there are things that everybody knows that they're doing, and there are things that everybody knows that they're not doing, because they put an effort to get rid of that task or responsibility, because they don't want to deal with it. That's them. These are your colleagues. They also have comfort zones. And this is you. You have a comfort zone which was given to you. You have a job description, responsibility, you have authority, you need to report to certain people. There are budgets you control or other people or whatever it is. That's your comfort zone. And what are people busy doing? In a way, they want to do their job better, faster, and more efficient to get a raise, which is equivalent to spinning faster in your own comfort zone. While they're at it, there's a physical law about comfort zones at work. It's like electrons. They repel each other. They don't touch. So there's always space in between comfort zone, and you will always find there things that nobody wants to do. Rearrange the CRM. Update the contact list. All that junk that is the gray, coal, rubbish for them could be the gold for you. Because you also don't want to do this and that, and you don't want to do this and that. But this and that are things that no one else is doing, and you want that to be within your charge. So what do? You volunteer to take it. And 3 months later, it becomes obvious that you take care of it. What have you done here? You have increased your output. Now you can demand more input against it. At the end of the year, say, you know, I'm also taking care of this and this and that. That's beyond my job description. So I think it's work. And I think you're happy with me doing it. And if you picked something that solves a problem to that person, they will not only officially give that to you, they will also increase your input against it. Make sense? So you create promotion, not wait for a promotion. And entire new roles, departments, sometimes are built this way. And then people say, oh, you know, that person is so lucky. She was there when they decided to create that new role. No, she happened to help create that role. So this tactic works. Maybe not everywhere, but in 90% of places. Here's another one. This is more like personal development, career development stuff. Who wants to explain this slide? Yeah, this is not an equation. It's not I minus T. Yes?
I forgot the names, but this is, the first one is who knows a lot about one subject. The other is...
Hold on, because I want to repeat that for the recording. So this person knows a lot about one
Specialized?
That's the I shape. That's an expert in one thing. Best in the world in, I don't know, Python. Okay? So who's that person? No, not you, because now they'll understand. Come on.
Average knowledge.
Average
knowledge.
Exactly. That is the generalist that knows a little bit about a lot of things. Okay? So what is this person? Great. That's called the T shape, not my invention. Now, this is very basic in business. You do not want to have a business that only knows to deliver one thing, because it's not a good risk manager. It's not a good risk management strategy. Because if that thing collapses or some chat GPT comes along and destroys your industry, you're finished. So you want to spread your eggs. You cannot do everything as an expert, and you don't want to be a generalist, but you need to build this triangle. Okay? Yeah, knock yourself out. You can also get the presentation at the end, and it's all on my website.
I want to send it to my team.
Okay, great. So yeah, you want to be the T shape. Remember that 2-3 slides from now in the context of you making Aliyah. You'll be surprised what is that combination to people like you. It's not always where you think it is. You know what? Maybe we're even getting to it right now. Who here worked for McKinsey or Bain or any consulting role or company? So the joke is that this is the only thing consulting firms are good in doing. They take whatever problem, they put the XY chart, they put unique and valuable, and you always want to be in the upper right corner, right? So they always laugh, like consulting is all about the 2x2 matrix. So we know what this is, right? I don't need to explain this, right? If you have something that is very unique but brings zero value, you have no market, right? If you have something that is not unique and of zero value, well, I don't need to explain that. Here's the tricky part. So that's the bozo zone. That's the no market zone. This is the tricky part. Everybody talks about the added value. If you have something that brings a lot of value but is not unique, you are doomed to compete on price. You don't want to be there. You want to be in the upper right corner. Duh, every business unit manager knows that. Every marketing consultant knows that. Every CEO knows that. Great. And investors know to say that to their portfolio companies, all good. What does it mean personally? So how do we get here? So here's my perspective. Your education, your skills, your experience, that is not unique. It's of great value. There's a place for that in the market, but you are doomed to compete on price. You know what is unique to you? You have something that I don't have. I mean, I do, but you have that in a unique way. You have a global perspective. Yes, you know why? Because you lived in other places. You know not to send a short 3 bullet point email to someone after they sent you a long 3 paragraph email. Because Israelis think we're doing them a favor, we're tachlis. You understand that it sends the wrong message, and you're laughing, and you have no idea how much that happens still today. Now, you don't want to be in the, I don't know, in the email team of the marketing department. You're, I don't know, you're a financial controller or a lawyer or you're a developer. But you have that unique thing. Especially if you work for a company that is interested in the Turkish market, right? We import a thing or two from Turkey, right? In good and bad times. So the cultural perspective, the international network, people could spend 3 months trying to get to a person that your dad's best friend's neighbor knows. You know how valuable that shortcut is to that company? These things make you unique. And together with the valuable, not unique, makes you a much high relevant T-shape expert to hire or to promote. This connects with the gold and the gray, because you could be in one department but help the other department. It's something that otherwise consultants will charge high for. And you have that in-house. But nobody bothered to think about it because they hired you to develop on Python. So it's your job to show them that. That is the idea. By the way, 2 buildings from here, there's a place called Google Campus, and there's this talk online that I gave over there. More about that, if you want to look into it. Okay, what else do I have here? Oh yeah, I do a lot of storytelling and pitch practice. We're not going to do that here, fortunately. But I want to give you a tip. Because you're coming with a global perspective to Israel, and you need to sell yourself to Israeli clients, right? Most of the time. So let's talk a little bit about pitching. Anybody has an idea what this is? Go wild. How is this connected to pitching?
Smile.
Cheese from North Europe. Cheese from North Europe.
Yeah, but why did I put that cheese? What do we see on that cheese?
It has holes.
Holes, that's right. What's behind the cheese?
Sakranut.
What's behind the cheese?
Trap. Just kidding.
Okay.
Meeting table.
No, but what is, okay, it's not a meeting table from above. Who said sun? Sun, yes. Sun shoots rays for all sorts of directions. Here's the idea. Let me give you a good tip, okay? This is very true for startup entrepreneurs. Maybe some of you are, but it's also very effective when you go to a job offer, when you reach out to someone, when you grab someone on lunch club for a 15-minute video call, whatever it is. Most people drop their sales pitch on the other side. Let me tell you about our product and how good it is, and about the problem in the market and our solution and this and the technology and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. And the other side feels boof, 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 being pitched, which is why the only thing the other side wants to do is go to the phone and say, you know, what's my next meeting? You lost them. Same when you reach out to people. Hi, I saw your company, I do this, and I really want to work for you, and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and I saw this type on your newsletter, and you drop it all on them, and you think about how to craft that email, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and you send that 2-paragraph email, and it's already too much. So a punchy, effective, all inside pitch structure maybe is good on stage. When you're on a coffee meeting with someone, virtually or face-to-face, here's what this means. You have 1 minute. You take that 1 minute and you drop a piece of Swiss cheese that has more holes than cheese. You put a few stats about yourself, you put the context for the meeting, you put the reason you reach out to that person, and a little bit about your background, and that's it. And then you hold tight. And the other side wants more information. So the other side said, okay, but where did you work exactly? And then you'll answer. Quick answer, and shut up. And they say, oh, so where are you from? Oh, from Turkey, okay. Quick answer, question, answer, shut up. So what did you do in your former job? Quick answer, shut up. sun ray, back to the center, sun ray, back to the center. Psychologically, what happens is the more they ask quick questions and receive short answers, the more they lean into you. So you don't want to drop the information, you want to create curiosity within a minute or two. That's why it's a short text on the connection request. You're limited. You cannot add a link and you cannot put a long text. It has to be short because you want to get the other side curious. So I highly advise you to build your pitch in this way. By the way, not just in Israel, generally speaking. So again, I'm throwing things and feel free to go back to them later. A lot of it is online. Let's see, what else did I want to share? Oh yeah, bottom line. Maybe we save that to the end. Questions? Objections? Rejections? Yes.
First of all, thank you. I have listened to you before, but listening to you again.
I have to say you look familiar. I don't remember where we met, but we met.
In Google campus, like the other building here.
There we go. Okay.
But like, I needed that. I needed
Thank you.
that. Some of the points that you brought hit me in the head. Now to my question.
Yes.
There are many people that I see, young people who are just out of the army, and there are some people who are making change of careers. And like you said, we won't have the phones in 15 years. And probably in 15 years, there will be some other version of ChatGPT that will be writing the code themselves, for themselves. Do you have any advice for the people that make a career choice? Which way to follow, like to learn Python or to move in which direction?
Okay, so I'll give you the most honest answer I can, which is I have no idea. If I knew, I would be very rich right now. I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what I'm betting on. By the way, I'm in an industry that's going to be highly impacted by AI. Because now, creative services, copywriting, branding, design, will have to really be creative. Because if it's based on common knowledge, statistical knowledge about what works, machine knows that, right? So now we have to really be creative because the machine doesn't know what could work but didn't so far. It doesn't have the data set for that. So I'm in a risk zone. I can tell you what I'm betting on. Historically, the more humans develop technology, the more it made humans human. Meaning bet on things that have to do with emotional intelligence, with creative thinking. I don't think writing is going to go away. Creative writing is going to be on the rise. Technical writing may be on the decline. Okay? So if you need to write a dry post, let's say you work in marketing. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Let's say you work in marketing. And you knew all your professional life that if you produce 5,000 technical dry blog posts that nobody's going to read, but it's going to really help the SEO, that game is over. The machine will do that. But to write something that people will really be interested in, you need to talk to people in order to learn what they're interested in. The machine doesn't know how to do that. So all the jobs will remain, but they will change. That's what experts say. Some will die completely, like truck drivers. But a lot of them will become more based on the human factor. That's the idea. What's your profession?
I'm an engineer.
Engineer. So fix a bug on a code. In a way, it's analytical thinking. Already today, your friends are asking the ChatGPT, right? I mean, that's already happening. Thinking creatively how to approach a challenge from a different perspective, that's a human factor. I'm not a developer, but the same applies for design, text, any form of communication, legal challenges. There's a lot of creative thinking in there. That's what experts say. Did this help? Right. More questions? Yes?
A small question. I like to write a lot and I want to change my career and I want to become a content writer. Now, while I was preparing for an interview, I went on the blog of that company and I saw so many mistakes. My question was, can I say that at an interview? Because I don't want the other person to lose her job. Like it's not a nice thing to do, but on the other hand, it can show my experience. I saw 3 mistakes in a small blog.
So I understand that they interviewed you while someone else was still on the job. What do you say that other person?
No, while I was preparing for the job, I read, I saw
Okay.
at the blog and blah,
I
blah,
see,
blah,
okay.
and I saw so many mistakes, but in the end I didn't say anything because I'm Belgian and European, and but
Right, so the cultural variance. So I would say you do need to show that you noticed that. It doesn't have to be in a rude Israeli way.
because it was quite terrible.
Okay?
But wouldn't that sound arrogant also in some interviews?
No, because if you bring it up in an authentic way, and not, oh, I found these mistakes, because I'm so good and your content writer isn't.
I would never say that.
Of course not. But you're the CEO of you. What's your name?
Noemi.
Naomi. You're the CEO of you. It's your job to sell yourself to them. It's not their job to figure that out by themselves. If you don't show them, how could they know? So you have to do that.
I know so, but
If you were the CEO of a company that is applying for a tender, an RFP, say, the municipality of Jerusalem is looking for a company to help us do X. You need to show them that you understand that there is a problem with the current reality and it could be so much better. So there are ways to bring it up. I'm happy to do a one-on-one later because this is like too technical. There are ways to bring it up in a way not only that doesn't sends the wrong message, but puts you where you want to be. By the way, approaching the person who probably wrote that, let's say you found on LinkedIn that content writer, reach out to her. You actually want her. You want to talk to her. A huge mistake that people do is called, run to the CEO. You reach out to the higher management level as fast as possible. Why? Because they make the decision. It's a huge mistake in my opinion. You have to help the people down at the pyramid bring value to their boss. That's their way for you to buy their hearts and you make them your friends. So if that content writer said, Naomi is so wonderful, she helped me figure out all these mistakes, she wants you to be next to her maybe. She'll say, you know what, she's great, we could use her.
Or she may take it for granted. Oh, it's good.
Some people do. Yeah. Which brings me to another topic. Unless someone else has a question, there's one more thing that I want to share. I want to talk a little bit about, more tactical networking and stuff. But yeah. No questions?
Guys, any challenges in your
Just
job
share
search?
it later.
Okay. Maybe some people want to approach me one-on-one. Okay.
No, not one-on-one. It's just the case. Actually, I will share it. When I was browsing on LinkedIn job application, job descriptions, I found that in one company, which is very popular in Israel, have a job description giving the name of a candidate on the job description. So I take this.
What do you mean, giving the name of the candidate?
Job description. And
Okay.
the job description, a Russian or Ukrainian lady's name given.
Okay.
So I googled her too, and I seen that she is applying to that company, etc. So I seen that it's a problem because it seems like it's a tailor-cut job description for someone else. So I tried to reach out to human resources to say, "Oh, look, there's something like that." No one responded.
I know. That's called, standing in line through the door. Let's say their job description was for the marketing department or for the legal
I
department.
forgot the name. They should delete the name.
I know, but if maybe you were unable to find, but the idea is you want to find the person that you would work under if you get the job. It's probably not the head of HR, unless you're applying for a job in HR. No, I understand, but the idea is you want to reach out to the person who is likely to be your boss, your customer, once you get that job. That's the person you want to build a relationship with. And I've seen that work. Yes, it takes more time. That's why I call it the sniper squad, because they take the time, they aim, they measure the wind, they take into account the curvature of the earth, but when they shoot, they hit. Now, if you spray the hill 150 job applications. Eventually, you'll hit something by mistake. Probably not a company you really want to work for, just a company that was available at that time. So that's a job. An opportunity with one of those top 10 companies is a career opportunity. Here's another piece of networking. And I know some of you are managing people, so you probably know this well. You have two people in your department. I mean, you have many, but two people out of your department. One of them is an ace. That's the expert. They're awesome. You're so happy you have them, because technically they're awesome. Problem is, they're an asshole. Now you have another, let's call that person Joe. And you have another person, her name is Michelle. Michelle is also great. I mean, not as awesome as Joe, because Joe is really like, Neo from the Matrix. He can solve everything, whatever. Michelle spends 20% of her time helping other people, which is not her job. Not only that, Michelle spends time in professional forums helping other people who work in other places, sometimes our competition. What the hell? Now let's say you need to choose one of the two, who to keep, because there's a down round because of the crisis right now.
I keep Michelle.
Why though? Everybody knows to say Michelle because it sounds good. The question is, what is the rational reason? What's your name?
Moti.
Moti. What is the rational reason to help Michelle? To keep Michelle?
Human.
But why? Why? Let's be selfish for a second. Why is that important? Forget Simon Sinek feels good. Why is that also effective for our business to keep Michelle and not Joe?
It's an asset for the future.
No, not future. She's already.
Why she's an asset and Joe isn't, or less?
She's already helping our other units to.
She's helping our competition. How is that good?
But she's also helping our units too.
I don't know if you can capture the board, but let me show you why. Okay? So
Michelle was the right answer.
No, everybody knows that Michelle is the right answer because it sounds good. Few people, I do this a lot. Few people say Joe. The question is why Michelle? And the way it works is this. Anybody here heard of Adam Grant? Yeah. Great. So maybe you know that too. Exactly. How many people who don't know the giver-taker analogy? You have no idea what it is? 1, 2, 3, 4. You all know what this is? Or you just don't want to say that you don't know, okay? And 10,000 people through the camera. Okay, so Adam Grant, great TED Talk, great book. He did a research. He said, let's see who are the people that succeed the most in business and who are the people, or in their job, and who are the people that, flunk the most. And he divided people into 3 categories. You have takers, matchers, and givers. Takers are the majority of the people. These are people that, quid pro quo. You help them, they will help you back. If you don't help them, they will not help you. So they are matchers. Takers are people that only ask for help, never help back. Assholes. And there are givers, people who, they're not Mother Teresa, they also have a job to do, but they spend a good amount of time helping others with asking for nothing in return. Okay? Now, you're the boss of this. And Adam Grant did a research. So for those who never heard about this, who would you guess are the people who succeed the most in their job and in their career? Givers, matchers, or takers? Only those who don't know. In reality, what did he figure out? The ones who succeed the most.
Sounds like matchers to me.
Matchers?
Givers.
Givers. So the answer was givers. He also checked who are the people who get fired the most, people who don't survive the first 2 years the most. Takers or matchers? You know what he found out? Givers. And then he said, what? What's going on? And here's what he found out. I'm giving you the Israeli Tachlis shortcut. It's like, the white cells in your bloodstream. It turns out that matchers, they kill takers. If there's a taker in the team, matchers will not let that person survive. Okay? He also found out that takers kill givers. If you have a giver and a lot of takers, the giver's out. If you have a lot of givers and one taker, it's like one drop of ink in a glass of water, the team's not going to work well. So he found out that takers kill givers. Matchers kill takers. Givers can turn matchers into more givers over time. So his tip was, for bosses, you have to realize who the taker is and remove that person as fast as possible. You don't need everybody to be givers. It's good to have a few givers. It's okay to have a lot of matchers because it's a healthy bloodstream. But you have to keep the takers out. He also figured out that the best approach is to be a smart giver. And that is super important for marketing because you may reach out to that person who works as a content writer in that firm and just give something small. Hey, I saw your recent piece, good stuff. Maybe you didn't see, but there was a typo. Someone did that to me 2 days ago. Someone from Morocco, I think, not from here. Just, hey, FYI, that's it. And you leave a breadcrumb and you go away. This is super effective because when it's done to the right people, I hope I'm not considered to be a taker saying, thank you, sucker. No, I kind of feel like I owe him one now. And that makes me want to go back home, see what he's been posting recently. Maybe I want to help him in a way, right? So, because it's my reputation. So the idea is you need to be a smart giver. And this is highly important in entrepreneurial environments. It's the way startup founders have to be, because they're like cowboys in the saloon. They have to help one another, because it's the desert out there. And if it applies to them, it applies to business people in general, which is why it applies to everyone and to immigrants in particular, within the community and outside the community. You all have this community, you have your neighborhood, your regional community, you have your professional community, which is not just this one, because you all have your own professions. It's really important to try hard to be givers with other givers and with matchers. And the other thing that Adam said, cut takers right away. They're dangerous. You think they will not affect you, they will. And it's really, really important because a lot of people sometimes invest a lot of energy in the wrong places. And when you do it in the right places, suddenly you get lucky and people say, wow, she was so lucky to get that job offer, right? No, she invested a lot of time planting those seeds. Yes?
May I ask a naive but an honest question?
Yes,
on that?
please.
As a overgiver, and I've been out of the game several times because of that, I want to ask how to be a smart giver. Do you have any tips for like where to start?
Yes,
How to
yes,
really
yes,
give a smart
yes,
giver?
yes. First of all, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I don't claim to, be an expert. I'm also like another Bedouin in the desert. I suffer from the same challenge. Think like a business unit.
Maybe limit your time.
We're human beings, but think like a business unit, not in terms of like cold business, P&L stuff. In terms of you want to do the right thing in an efficient way. You don't want to do the right thing in a non-efficient way. You don't want to do the wrong thing in an efficient way. And it happened to me twice already that I cut people from my life that I saw as really good friends of mine, people that I trusted, and I had to cut them right away because I figured out they're not who I thought they were. So it's really, and I'm trying to follow Adam Grant's advice. Sometimes you have to cut your hand to save the body. As that. By the way, another reason why Michelle, by the way, from a cynical reason, if I'm the boss and I need to pick between Joe and Michelle, when Joe will encounter a problem, 99% he'll know how to solve it. But there's 1% who will not know how to solve it. And then what will he do? Ask ChatGPT. But ChatGPT will not know because no one ever faced that problem before. There's no data. Who will he ask? Google. Yeah, but Google doesn't know. There's no data. Never happened.
Because she knows.
And she's a smart giver, so what will she do? She'll say, yeah, I'm kind of busy right now. Can you maybe come tomorrow? And she'll say that every day. So he will not be able to fulfill. If Michelle will encounter a problem that no one ever faced before, there's no Google or God or ChatGPT to ask. You know who will she ask? The person who works for our competition, who will be happy to help her. T-shape.
I was a marketer for 8 years, and now I'm just doing many part-time things, just keep surviving, basically.
Yeah, it's called the new world of work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a job almost like 5 months, and I'm doing almost like what you said. I'm very specific about the companies that I really want to work. I'm really not applying for the small companies or something because I already have experience. I know what I want, and I want exactly the companies I like. And I had an experience like this in the last 5 months. I'm applying, everything goes well, they really like me, and the interviews goes well, the exam goes well, 4 interviews, and then they move forward.
Which happens. So let me flip that on you. Don't just snipe. It's not a good risk management choice. You have to spray the hill. You have to allow for the opportunity that something could come along which is not what you projected, but it could be a good opportunity to take even if it wasn't your plan. That's number one. Number two, specifically as an immigrant, you should ask yourself the reverse question of the ABC table I spoke of. Let's take C. What do I have that is of value and is unique that other people want? And the hell with what I want right now. I have enough years to build my career. I need a job because my real big story in life right now is building my life in the new country, in the promised land. That is the business goal, which is why the objective, it's like an army directive. You know, you have a goal, objective, tactics, the strategy, the tactics, who needs to do what. It's like an upward, like Pkudat Mivtza, like, you know, an army debriefing. So the real goal is to establish my life in the new country. And it's okay if I will work for a company that works with the Turkish market, that needs me as a lawyer, and I can help the marketing department, and I know a person or two in the Turkish market. I can speed things up. I know how to speak Turkish as well. But the company deals with importing and exporting semi-product, semi-finalized goods and raw materials. So what? Maybe I found out great people that I love working with. Maybe I found out passions in places that I didn't think of. So don't be zeroed in. I want to snipe on that boulder next to that tree, and I'm just waiting for the enemy to show up. That is not a good strategy. So that's the flip side of that. The reason both of them are true is because your career is not the sequence of the jobs you had. Again, your career is not the sequence of the job you had. Time will fly, you have a lot of years, but it'll snap and you'll be 70-something and someone will ask you, so what did you do professionally in your life? And the answer will not be, I worked here, then I worked there, then I worked here, then I got there, then I was promoted, but then the company shut down, so I moved here. So that's not a story. For the same way that a random set of sentences is not, a random set of words is not a sentence. Chair, piano, blue, and pig is not a sentence. It's a random set of words. Sentences need context. And to say I was in the blah blah industry for 5 years because I moved to Turkey and you know, and I built myself up, and then I moved and I shifted and I became whatever, a designer, lawyer, whatever you want to do. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be able to make that progress. It's a business choice because you're the CEO of you. Does that make sense? Okay, more questions? LinkedIn questions, what should I write in the connection request? What should I do with people who reach out to me and say nothing? I see a LinkedIn job that I really like, but I know it's BS. What can I still do? Feel free to ask tactical questions. How do I approach someone in a conference? Conferences are back, by the way, so how do I do that?
Maybe I have a question.
Yeah.
So what do you think about like coffee meetings where you would approach somebody on LinkedIn that you don't know, who's not the CEO, somebody maybe on your level, and you would suggest them, let's meet for whatever we talk about the industry, about the company. Is that a route to success?
In other places, yes. In a place with a culture like Israel, say New York, no. I would say that in today's global environment, the answer is no, because people are busy. Because I'll give you the equivalent. How many people here got a phone call from Hara Bituach or Hara Kesef? Do you know what it is? Listen, it's a really important thing. Because so many people, they have money trapped in an insurance place, blah, 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 whatever. And these places will help you for free. So this is a good service. And they're calling you to tell you that it's really helpful. And what do you care? It's for free. And all they need is your Teudat Zehut number. And so why the hell do you say, sorry, I'm kind of busy right now? Which is what you all say, right? Why do you say not now? It's really good for you. What is the reason you say not now? You know how much people paid for those people to sit and phone people all day? And it doesn't work. Why do you say sorry, not now? But it's not spam. It's a real thing and it's good and it still doesn't work. Of course I delete my spam email. But this phone call, first of all, because they called you, and calling is a big no-no these days. That's number one. Because you want to interrupt me in the time that is convenient to you, but it's not convenient to me. That's the way young people perceive it without even thinking about it. Number two, it brings a lot of value, and maybe it's even unique. But you're busy now. The same applies in reverse. Let's talk about the industry. That other person is busy. Why? Because he has a shit ton of fires to put down, problems of work. Plus, he's happy where he's working. He's not looking for his next challenge. The best way to reach out to people is to think about their WIFM. What's in it for me? WIFM. What's WIFM? What's in it for me? What's in it for the content writer? She wants to be the person who will fix it right away, right? What's in it for her boss?
It's really annoying me. It's really annoying me.
So do something about it.
I'm the person who goes to a restaurant, sees mistakes on the menu, and gets annoyed.
Okay, so there's a way to do it in a nice way.
Yeah, do it.
Also to promote your services. That restaurant is a potential client. Maybe they're happy to throw you a few dollars to fix their menu on their website. Depends on how you propose it. So if you reach out for the WIFM, here's a tactic that I learned from someone very wise. I'll be happy to grab you on the phone for 2 minutes. Not more than 2 minutes, I promise. Okay? Or I'll send a voice note. Okay? Voice note is tricky. Better 2 minutes on the phone. And you promise not more than 2 minutes. And you use 1 minute, you let them ask a question on the other minute, and then the conversation goes on. And you know what happens after 1 minute and 45 seconds? You cut bluntly and you say, listen, I'm really sorry, but I promised 2 minutes and the 2 minutes are kind of out. I'll be happy to continue the conversation if you want to reschedule for more time. And you shut up. But now you got them curious. Not always works, but it will work with the right people if you got them curious. So if you ask a question about where do you think the industry is going, maybe not. If it's about the typo in the newsletter, maybe you have a question about how they check things before they publish. Depends. But 2 minutes, you throw a small piece of like a tapas, like a quick candy, you get them hungry. And they say, no, I have some more time now. And they say, no, I'm sorry. You're like, I also have to go. I'll be really happy to reschedule because you're a professional. More questions?
Just LinkedIn question.
Yeah.
I'm sometimes just adding the HRs. Of course, from now on, I'm not going to do...
What do you mean? What do you mean adding the HR?
HR of the company that I actually want to work with. So I'm just like trying to get their attention. I'm thinking.
Okay. Okay.
And obviously, I would do it with.
Ooh, you know, pity her. You know, she's bombarded by so many people. The amount of where is this? I gotta put this for a second. Oh, listen. You know, show some. What's your name?
Jenny.
Jenny. Show some empathy to her. The amount of people who reach out to her with business and saying nothing, or come and put their CV on her table and say nothing. Not being she's bombarded.
It doesn't make sense.
Don't come through the door, only through the window. Now, do you want to work under her in HR with her? No, you want to work for the blah blah department. Reach out to them on LinkedIn. Trust me, if the head of the department that you want to work with, you spoke to that person, okay? You asked a question, 2 minutes, they wanted to speak more. You scheduled with them for 20 minutes or 15 minutes on Zoom, on Teams, and then you got them interested. Trust me, they know to walk to the person from HR and say, listen, I spoke to this person. We have Michelle, you know, we've been speaking about it. It's enough. We need to let her go. But I think I have the next person. Let's invite her for, what's your name?
Jenny.
Jenny. Let's invite Jenny. Speak to Jenny. He's saying to her.
Makes much more sense.
And only after they figured out and they closed with you, they're not idiots, they're risk managing. Only after they shook hands with you, they let Michelle know. And then you're hired. And then a job post goes on LinkedIn. And so many people hit, apply! But it's a done deal already.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I promised. Something that maybe does not apply to you because you look like people maybe with even more experience than me. Something I do say to a lot of young people fresh out of college. And it doesn't work anymore because I'm getting old, so not everybody knows the film. But this is the bottom line. The amount of people that send 10 applications on LinkedIn and say LinkedIn jobs doesn't work. The amount of people who put 10 companies in column A and 10 answers on column B and C and reached out to only 3 of those companies and say, Assaf, your tactic doesn't work. The amount of people who spent 5 hours overall during 1 week doing some effective human networking on LinkedIn saying, yeah, everybody's a taker here, it doesn't work. The amount of people that put, we just spoke about Tu Bishvat, the amount of people who put a seed in the ground and then pour 15 gallons of water, 5,000 sunbeams like that and say, come on, come on, come on. And 10 minutes pass and say, it doesn't work. That's not a way to do it. It takes a lot of work. The good thing is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But I really do believe that if you take the red pill and you invest the time and you understand where you can be unique and valuable, who is out there that may look for me? They don't need to hire right now. It just needs to be a good match. And over time, how do I build my network with my top 10 companies? And it may not be the way I want it to be, but I'll find my way to add value to them, to be meaningful to them, because it's with them that I want to spend the long run. Then I believe it really works. The other choice is to say, yeah, that Olim organization didn't really help me. Yeah, the Ma'anak Klita was this. Yeah, Birthright was this, Masa was that, Gvahim was this, JNF was that, Nefesh Benefesh was this, Israel is this, that, and blame the universe. But you're the CEO. It's not on the universe, it's on you. Thank you.
Wow. So we take the red pill or the blue?
You'll be surprised, I show this to young people and I realize they don't know what it is. And then I stopped showing the slide because they say, what? You don't know the movie? I'm getting old. So the red pill. Yes?
Actually, I did what you said without knowing it. I did connect to the one company that I want to work at. It's not recorded, it's air. Anyway.
Well, I didn't hear, but never mind.
I contacted the person even from WhatsApp because I found their WhatsApp from
Stalker.
Kind of.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Israel is a country run by WhatsApp.
Exactly.
The amount of people who will not reply to LinkedIn, email, Facebook, or whatever it is, but they will reply on WhatsApp. Not everybody. Some people hate it when you reach out on WhatsApp. A lot of people do. It depends on the culture of their job. In marketing and sales, they love it, right? People who do a lot of operations and logistics, a lot of times they love it. People whose job is to keep things formal don't always like that. So know to play the culture not only of Israel, but your industry and your profession in that industry. Sorry.
Thank you.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, and the guy, he was an older guy actually, and I did connect with him through WhatsApp, and I found it like from one of the newsletters or something, and it worked out. Like I met the guy, I drove to the company that was in Pardesana. I mean, they walked me through the company. I even tested the drone that was flying. Everything was well. And I told them, like, I want to work at this company, whatever it takes, like, whatever position it's.
Okay, maybe it was a good thing, maybe it doesn't. Not always it's the best thing to do. But okay, and what happened?
I think I failed at the point where I couldn't put my unique value on the table. Anyway, maybe it wasn't the right time, but anyway, at least reaching out to the right person opens the door, and I made sure that I go through it.
First of all, and if it's okay, remind me your name?
Leon.
Leon. So again, I'm not getting into specifics, I'm just using it as an example. You are the CEO of Leon Incorporated, okay? This is a strategic client. Not because it's a big one, because it's an important one, right? Just like in your job, there are what we call in Israel, lakochot zahav, strategic gold clients, gold accounts. This is a gold account that you really want to get. So the no you got is no now for this in this way. It's not a no in general. If anything, it opens the door to the possible yes that you didn't think of. A lot of times, there's a really good book called Getting to Yes. That basically the punchline of that book is when there's negotiations and one person sits here, another person sits here, it's like, we need to reach an agreement that is in the middle between both sides. And the book says this is a very wrong approach. What you want to do is if you're sitting across the table from someone else, you want to create a conversation where you kind of move to their side and say, listen, we're on the same side. We're trying to reach an agreement. Let's see how we solve this challenge together. So in a way, maybe, I don't know the details, but a lot of times what happens, you keep the conversation, or maybe even you befriended them, but then you are the one who's putting back this scenario of you and them on the other side of the table, because you're asking for an opportunity. You made an ask. Sometimes the right way is, look, and there are tactics to do that. I would really love to be a part of this. I don't know if it's a part-time, full-time. I can do many things, and I know I have, my value, blah, 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 and I have my unique and valuable, blah, blah, blah. I don't know you personally enough to say, but you surely have them. So some people will say, what needs to happen so that I could get an opportunity? What, is it a 1-month unpaid internship? And then you make a decision? Because I can go to Masa and come as an intern for 3 months. By the way, how many people here did Masa? I'm curious. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You know how many people take an internship through Masa? Just because it was offered on the Masa menu. You know what the right thing is to do? The top 10. You reach out to those companies 4 months before you come to Israel. You tell them, listen, I'd love for an opportunity. I can come to work for you for free for 3 months. Totally legal, totally this Masa thing. You create your own opportunity. And then you come to them and say, listen, the reason I'm willing to come to Israel for 3 months, do this Masah thing, come work for you, I would love for an opportunity. What needs to happen so that after 3 months I could get that opportunity? Now you're bringing value, you're increasing output before you ask for any input. So they have an incentive to capture that. Just for the Masah thing. But back to you. If there was an opportunity where you can ask in a gentle way what needs to happen so that you could get an opportunity for what and how, let them tell you. Because maybe you asked, I would love to work in your marketing department doing XYZ. And they don't need to say, yeah, we don't need to. But they do need something else. But it doesn't register, they don't connect the dots because they're the client. So if they're a gold account, you should go back to them and say, listen, how should I put it? I'm really sorry about, it ended last time and maybe I made a mistake. Because I'll tell you what you do, I'm not going to go Simon Sinek. You all know Simon Sinek. Your why is the reason I'm in love with you. I'll kill to be part of what you do. Because it's a career choice. It's not a job need. Forget the what and how. I can do a lot of things. What do you need and how? And maybe let them tell you. But I'll tell you one thing. Most companies, at some level, they see two kinds of people. The people up see two kinds of people. The inner circle and everybody else. And the difference between the inner circle and everybody else, the reason places develop that inner circle is because the people in the inner circle know that if shit hits the fan, they will stick around to take care of it. And it's their name. Everybody else will go get a job somewhere else. They'll flee like, rats from a sinking ship. That's why the people in the inner circle, they need to take care of one another. The board members or the mid-managers or whatever it is. Because they're part of the same pack. If you show to them, I don't know the company, but for sure you know to tell me already that there are ways you can show them that you'll do anything to prove to them that you're worth of being in the inner circle. That's the kind of employees they want. It may not be the job you thought. Maybe it's not a full-time job. Maybe they'll want you to be a freelancer 50% and not a part-time employee. But who cares about the what and how? Yes?
Yeah, I ask exactly a question like that. I just very recently established my own company on consulting.
Mazal tov. I didn't know that. We should talk. Okay.
So I'm now in a position that I'm inexperienced in this way because all out my life I was looking like a LinkedIn, which is mostly full-time job offers and ads. But how, do you have tips on how to find either part-time opportunities for freelancers or project-based clients? Like how to find that kind of jobs, because LinkedIn doesn't have that much life.
Yeah, you find out the head of the department of the company, like the head of the department. It's the same as looking for a job, because looking for a job and looking for a client is the same thing. You're the CEO of you. So the same applies. You find out the stakeholder.
Literally.
I know, me too. But even if you worked full-time at Bank Olim, I would still say that you're that. But never mind that. The punchline is you want to find out the relevant stakeholder. You want to give them a reason to react to you on LinkedIn. Yes, personal message, but it depends what is written in there, right? In the personal note, in the connection request. So you put something that makes them, interesting. And they hit connect. They will hit connect. They will approve your connection request. They will not write anything. It's okay, they're busy. Okay, game on. And then two things happen. Number one, you can send another message. But another things happen, and I'm surprised how many people don't know that. And it's okay not to know that, because we're still developing the new culture of social networks and everything. When we meet in a conference and I give you this, what's written here? You don't see, but you already know. Name, title, and
social media, LinkedIn profile.
And what? Phone and email.
Yeah.
Now LinkedIn, the way they see themselves, at least it looks like, they see themselves as a digital conference. Now it's okay at a conference to talk about dancing monkeys and politics. It's okay. It happens in real conferences, so it could happen on LinkedIn. But it's very not okay at conferences to come with flip-flops and bathing suit and start, joking around. People came to talk about work, right? So it's okay to talk about anything in the proper context of a conference. Awesome. What am I leading to? You're reaching out to that person. You give them a reason to approve the connection request. The minute they approved the connection request, it's equivalent, according to the LinkedIn theology, the LinkedIn theory, to exchanging business cards. So if I gave you my card and you gave me your card, what do I have here? Your email. When you connect to people on LinkedIn, try something funny. Go to their profile, which is now a first circle, and hit the contact information. And lo and behold, you will see the email address that you could not see before, but it's not always the work email. Because maybe you don't want to answer, but you work for Microsoft, right? You also have a LinkedIn profile. Are you registered on LinkedIn with your work email? No. Of course not. It's my personal LinkedIn with your personal email. So when you connect to people on LinkedIn, in a way you get access after the connection to their Gmail or whatever personal email, the iCloud, whatever it is, and then you can email them. Now, a lot of people, not you, other people, have 5,000 unread emails on the work email, but their personal one, they check, because it's their mother, it's their wedding, it's the personal life, that they check. That's a way to get through the window. Because if you send them a personal email later on, hi, we connected on LinkedIn, following what I said, blah, 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 the typo, the idea for the next product launch, or whatever it is, and you'll be happy to explain in a quick 2-minute phone call. And now she is interested, so you book a time, and after 2 minutes, you cut it. But you offer a 15-minute Zoom, Meets, Teams, and then you propose a full-hour meeting. But they say, listen, I'd be happy to help. To be honest, my pricing is X, but I kind of like you guys, so I'm willing to be flexible if possible. I'll be happy to help you do it.
So in this case, you advise me, for example, to create a project, like what I can offer them, because they didn't publish anything. And
I don't want to do it right now. We should meet for coffee. Okay. But what do you want to sell into who? And go plant that idea in their heads. Don't be like, hey, who's looking for, let's say you're a graphic designer. Who's looking for a graphic designer right now? Oh, a car shop that fixes tires. Great, I'll come to you. But you don't want to work with a car shop that fixes tires. They just happen to be available at that moment, which is the equivalent of, oh, I'm looking for a job. Who needs me right now? Oh, a car shop that fixes tires. Oh, I'll go work here. Now, it's okay to take random offers, because once every blue moon, it will not be a car shop that fixes tires. It will be a cool job that fits your goals. But it's the mix of spraying the hill and sniping. Same in business. Not all my clients I would have said, you know what, I want to work with that company. But it happened to be that, I took it for a business reason, but then I figured out these are great people, or it's a really cool product, or I thought I knew about this market, but I thought I didn't like that industry, but I happen to do. So it allows you to develop as well. It's the T-shaped mix. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Toda raba.